Coverage.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. Hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the great man, Sauce. What's happening, brother?
What's happening, mate?
No national
We are
FOMO?
on.
For national FOMO?
No, not really. There was no hope for us to get there, so it was not like it was.
We didn't get a private jet offer, so we'll never go on,
we
unfortunately.
didn't get the private jet, so we definitely weren't going. But yeah, looked like an amazing event once again. There are situations that and murmurings of issues within the event. And I think it's something we'll talk to on Hobby Talk. I've just thought about that in a second. We'll talk to it, and
all
a bit
around
of conversation about it because
okay.
There is, we do know that Fanatics wants to hold events. They've got the money to back and throw big grand events, with people not happy with the news that Atlantic City could hold another national in the near future.
Okay, interesting.
Opens the door for unsatisfied customers of the hobby to be shown another avenue.
Well, response from people we know was very positive. Very positive.
Yeah,
They had a great time. We're going to cover a few things that happened at the National, and obviously we'll wrap up the show with, when we get to it, probably the highlight of the National. I found it. I went rummaging. There was a lot of content that came out last week.
A lot of content.
I found it.
From what we've seen.
And I found it.
Stories,
The greatest bit of content of all time.
It is, hands down. Just goes to show you the level of insanity. The level of insanity it is over in the States when it comes to sports cards and collectibles.
Exactly right. But where do we start this week, Sauce? With the AFL. That's where we're going. Interesting to say the least for both of our sides going into the round and the results that they put out. But we'll begin with the Friday night game, which shocked everyone. And the Blue Baggers, are they the real deal? They defeated the Pies. You and I were sipping beers at the pub, watching this. And your thoughts? You were a bit shocked. Oh, Billy Elliott down there, he cost you. Pies cost you.
Billy Elliott. Pies, no good. Look, well played to Carlton, obviously. You can't take nothing away from them. The way they pressure around the ball, the way they dominated the clearances, they deserve to get the win. I feel like, Collingwood didn't do enough to be in the game. They didn't take some chances, and that probably cost them in the end because, it gave them a bit too much to run down in the fourth quarter, which we've seen them do a number of times. And we thought, it's going to happen all again. When they threw Jeremy Howe down there as a bit of throwing around of the magnets by the coach. But yeah, look, Carlton, you got to be happy. The supporters got to be happy. The lads on Blue Abroad, the fan cams were going off after the game. I tuned in, and let me tell you, they think they're winning the flag at this point. They reckon they're a shoo-in. Some of the supporters, they are a shoo-in to make the granny. That's the murmuring. That is the murmurings out of the fan cams. Murmurings, not the murmurings. That is what was said on the fan cams because I viewed it. Right down there at Blue Abroad. So there's pandemonium by the Carlton supporters. They think that's what's going to happen. I just think they need to calm the farm. They're in a good patch of form. We've seen how this can roll on into the finals. They've obviously, unfortunately, Chera got injured, done a hamstring, but he should be back. Should they be, make it into the finals? They're playing good. One thing I will say is it's bizarre that forward line actually looks better without Harry Mackay in there. And look, clear it one out, move the ball fast. It's a simple game. They created the turnover. When they created the turnover, they moved the ball fast. They got it to Charlie Curnow one-on-one, got him one-on-one contest. He was an absolute havoc. Drew the free kicks, took the marks, kicked the goals. There was one there. It was just absolutely cracker where he roved it off the ground, snapped
that was unbelievable.
Over his shoulder. That was just a ripper for a guy that size to do that in a swift motion. That
was unreal, man.
That quickly. But look, credit where credit is due, Carlton. But I think the supporters need Keep it calm. Keep it calm. The lid should still be on. They were all saying the
Chill.
lid's off.
Saucy's
It's
saying
off. It's off. They are shooting for the granny by some of the supporters.
the
They are
lid's
shooting for the
really
granny.
off.
Some saying
No.
they're going to win the granny.
Wow. Well, they beat the favourite.
They did beat the favourite. And look, and Collingwood, they weren't good in that game. So it just goes to show you know, how the method to beating Collingwood is you've got to get on top in the midfield, create that high-pressure game. And we see things from Collingwood that we're not used to seeing, and they've been showed so much composure. But, you know.
That's a credit to Carlton.
Yeah, credit to Carlton.
Can't believe I'm saying that. But
you gotta show, you know, they've shown a good run of form over this season. Collingwood, I think they'll be all right going into finals. They don't really have too many injuries. So look, they're pretty much getting a full squad back.
the Baggers are back.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. Maybe the Baggers they are that side that comes from outside the top four to cause a bit of havoc in the finals. There is always one. So
Could
why
be
can't
them.
it be them? Could be them.
That's a fair point, Source. Fair point. Welcome, James. Welcome, Adam, and welcome, Global, to the show live. Adam's just saying that they gave the Baggers the win. That's just saltiness from his end.
Old Vossi keeping his job. He has to keep his job at this point. I think for them to have sacked him and under what did happen, I think that was it would have been, you know, rough. Would have been
if he makes finals, he keeps his job. But in saying that, Radden got him to the finals and they sacked him. Next game up, Geelong versus Fremantle. Upset. The Dockers travel down to GMHBA and they get a 7-point win. There was upsets galore, mind you, this round. So big surprise there. GWS defeat Bulldogs in Ballarat by 5 points. So GWS, who everyone wrote off at the start of the season, and you and I sat here and said they're not going to be as bad as you all think. And they're proving that they can cause problems. That's all they have to be. All they have to do. They don't have. They're just causing issues.
What's the situation around that game? Like, obviously, that's played down in where was it playing in what's it called?
Mars Stadium. I think
that's
Ballarat.
Ballarat. You know, they sell their games down to the Ballarat. Maybe they make more money. The Bulldogs, who knows? I don't know. Remember, they get a chop out from the AFL for supporting the game out there. I don't know. It was a Bulldogs home game. They sell their game down to there, and GWS get over the line. I mean, you put this at Marvel Stadium, you pencil in a Dogs win every day of the week.
They're usually pretty good there, but they've just been so inconsistent, the Dogs. Like, they've pushed into 8th now. There's a lot of pressure on them. A lot of pressure on Luke Beveridge. If they don't make finals, he could be in a bit of strife, Luke Beveridge.
Interesting.
Like, they got the Hawks this week, so they should get the job done there. But they have to win these games to cement it. There's a lot of teams in the top 8. We'll get to the ladder shortly, where we can just talk about their inconsistency is not going to help them going into September.
Just, before we move on from this game, can we just give a shout out to Toby Green? What just captain's knock. Captain's knock. Correct. 5 goals. When he had, 18 disposals, 5 goals. He dominated. It was at all times.
He was very good.
It was
very good. Suns then defeat the Lions in the Q Clash by 41 points, Source.
Did 41.
Slapped them.
And this just goes to show what we've said about Brisbane a number of times. You know what I mean? Like, they've shown brilliance, and on their home deck at the Gabba, they are brilliant, and they can knock it with the best of them. I feel like they are a different side. But you put them on the road, they're always a chance to, you know,
bottle it, really.
Through and bottle it.
Turn into Arsenal.
I mean, they're third. They're probably going to lock up a top 4, which is going to, you know, mean that at least they're going to have to go they might be able to go all the way should they, you know, win their first.
Well, we've seen in recent years they lose when it comes to finals at the Gabba to make grannies.
There you go. So it doesn't matter.
No, I'm not confident in them.
I'm not confident.
Next one up, your mob Source lose by 2 points to Sydney.
We're done.
This is what, unfortunately, you give a team 5-goal lead heading into a last quarter. You make it like hard for yourself.
We did well to come back,
but you did. You did very well.
Look, I was a bit more happy than against the Dogs because we actually fought back and played well in that last quarter. But it just disappointing, man. Just disappointing. We had more inside 50s. We dominated the inside 50 in this game. We beat them around the ball in the contest. We won the ball around the contest, and we still fucking lost the game, Doc. Like, just we did all the right things, but it was skill errors, turnovers, guys not taking marks in the forward line, Peter Wright dropping a fucking chest mark, like on the lead. Snelling hits him on the absolute tip, drops it.
Yeah.
Drops it. So, look, disappointing, but at this point, I'm nearly at the point where I just say, let's just slide. Let's just slide a bit. Play more younger guys. Let's get some minutes into other guys. Don't bring Ridley back. Shelve him for the season. Put him up there. Let's try build some more minutes into Cox down back. Who knows? Maybe we gotta find the new positions, and we got to find another tall. If we're not going to be able to secure a tall like Mackay in the offseason, because we lack another tall down back, which allows Ridley to play a bit more of a run-off role and use his foot skills, where he's, in my opinion, is his best asset of his game. He's actually very good by foot. And then you got Redmond, you got Ridley off the back line. But nonetheless, it was sad to see the way Buddy retired.
I was going to say, Sauce, we're big Buddy fans here, but you are one of the biggest non-Sydney supporting Buddy fans and non-Hawthorn supporting Buddy fans as an Essendon supporter. You can safely say you were at Buddy's last game ever. I'm going to give you the floor here. You don't need to talk about the injury. You just talk about Buddy as a footballer and what you've seen, mate, in what has been one of the greatest careers of all time in this sport.
Yeah, look, great career. Obviously, kicked over 1,000 goals. Had the pitch stormed. We all know what an absolute champion he's been. He's won multiple flags. Nearly won. I don't think he won one with Sydney, but nearly, got them to a couple of grand finals. It was unfortunate he couldn't get the chocolates there. Multiple Coleman medals. Just a phenomenal player. And look, when you got to understand, he played in the eras where there was the lead out of the goal square forwards, where you didn't have all this zoning and rolling back of defenses that would zone and then flood the back line and then look to do spring attacks and counter attacks. And that's the model of the game now. But he played in that era and he would kick 100 goals in a season. He'd kick 7-8 goals on the regular. He kicked 13 goals on fucking North Melbourne. Right, it's barely ever see. Mate, Charlie kicked 11 on West Coast this year.
That's fair.
Could still be done, but it was great to watch, and his ability below the knees for a guy that size was unbelievable. He's got highlight reels after highlight reels after highlight reels. His worst highlight is better than some of the players that make the AFL. That's how good his highlight reel is. So look, it's a phenomenal career. Sad to see him go, but at least I don't have to see him beat up on my Essendon anymore, because he's actually kicked the most goals against Essendon out of anyone in his career. So he loves playing the Dons. So I'll be happy that we don't have to face him again. But look, great career, and just a gun, just a gun for his size. And if he ever, unfortunately, he couldn't take his hands out in front, the Duke's out in front whenever his best asset. And if he had those, I'm telling you, he might have kicked another 250 goals, mate.
Even if he could kick, and his accuracy at times in his career, like still kick 90 goals, but he's kicking like 50 behinds, 60 behinds. Like, just imagine if he converted that. Jeez, it would have been unbelievable. But yet, what a career. Absolute freak. One of the best I've ever seen play. That is for sure, hands down. So well done to the big Budwa. The last game on Saturday night was the showdown, and it was an upset as the Crows came out and absolutely munched Port Adelaide.
Two losses on the trot for Port.
Texan, can he win the Coleman?
He can win the Coleman.
Outkicked Curnow. We thought, the 6 goals against Collingwood, and we said it Friday night, it's going to be hard for Tex to kick a bag against Port. Obviously, with guys like Aaliyah down there, and He's come out kick 7. He's out kicked Kerno. And
Aaliyah should have been
Adelaide,
off the ground. They
no,
let him
don't
back on
it.
the ground after the concussion.
Oh,
What are they doing, man? Aren't they getting sued by players for this concussion thing, the AFL? Aren't they under a lawsuit?
AFL's lost the plot. They
Eh,
both should have been
eh,
subbed out of the game.
how does an official from the AFL not go out there, literally go to Port Adelaide and say, "Mate, get him off the ground. He's not. He's getting. He's out. He's out." What? Isn't there an independent AFL doctor there for this concussion situation?
They said that there isn't. They said that there isn't.
Wow.
But ring a ding ding. You heard it here first. Or may not know somebody, and it may be a close family member of mine that is an independent doctor for the AFL, and he sits in the arc and he watches the games live and reviews them for concussions. And he would have said not to put that guy back on the field if he was there. Like that, they do have independent doctors, is what I'm saying, allocated to certain games.
Oh, wow. And there was none to the big clash.
No, there would have been. No, there would have been. They're saying that
Okay.
there is no independent doctors at all.
Oh.
There
He wasn't
is.
watching that game, mate. He was too busy getting a beverage. He's getting a frobby.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. They're saying that there's no independent doctors whatsoever involved in it. And I'm telling you there is. Because I know people that are.
And so what was he doing? Where was he at the game?
The AFL, I don't know what they're trying to cover their ass, mate. Like, you
What
do
are
know
they-
that there's people out there that do the job for you. Well, they're going to turn around and say, but I do
That's
it.
what I'm trying to say. He
Like,
wasn't doing the job properly, mate. Maybe it was at that moment he was getting a frothy.
no,
The
the
doctor.
AFL, like, they're getting sued. I don't know what they're doing. I genuinely don't know what they're doing. It's a surprise to me, really.
Oh, he's going to miss 2 weeks now, Aaliyah. So,
No, he's not. He played.
no, surely. I think there's an investigation into it, mate.
No, he'll play this week. They're playing Geelong. That's why
Surely
he probably
he
didn't. They
can't
didn't sub
play.
him out.
Surely
He'll
he can't
play.
play.
Or he didn't get subbed out of the game with concussion. He played the whole game after that.
Mate, he was knocked out. Did you see the footage?
I saw the footage. He was gone. It was like Derek Big Boy Lewis ran into him with a flying knee. That's what it was like. I don't know.
Oh, can't wait to talk about hot balls.
Anyway. Yeah, we'll hit the DX. Adelaide too good though in that one. Saints get the win over Hawthorn. No surprise there. Melbourne run away with it against a strong Richmond side in this game. They lose by 32 in the end, but they were with them the whole time. And then Melbourne just kicked away. And then, of course, game of the round.
Toilet bowl.
Oh, it's the toilet bowl. West Coast versus North Melbourne. And West Coast get their second win of the season, defeating North by 5 points.
We both tipped North, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you want to know something? Come game time, Doma, I would have if I could have switched my tip, I would have switched my tip based off the fact that North Melbourne got smashed into under $1.60 from $1.85 or whatever. For some reason, everyone started betting on North Melbourne. That was a clear sign to me that West Coast had a chance at winning this game. They blew out to over $2.35 odds or something like that. And just based on that fact, I would have backed West Coast. And
North Melbourne.
I'm telling you, the matter of fact is that North Melbourne is shit. They're just as shit as West Coast.
Well, they're shitter because they lost to West Coast.
If your club's got any heart and soul, surely you tank it from here.
Well, they've got heart and soul. They'll play out the season. You got Zeeble announcing retirements and stuff, so they're going to have to send him off in the last game so they can actually try.
My mom's going to verse you. You might beat us.
You're a bogey team. We never beat you.
I know. It's like us and Bulldogs.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't want to be the supporter. Like, I don't want to be the team that has to give up picks to try and get the number 1 pick. We have to give up shit. I'd rather lose 17 percentage points by just getting flogged for the next 4 rounds. Lose by 100 every week. So we don't have to give up anything. Delist about 10 players, which we know we are. We'll probably delist another 10 guys. That's it. I'm telling you, Sauce. You heard it right here.
Back? Isn't Clarko back?
Yeah, Clarko's back this week. This is the other crap thing. Clarko's not going to come back and want to lose by 100 points. Like, come back next year, Clarko. I'm telling you, North fans, you're not going to get this wish of losing by 100 points, whatever what I'm saying. You're going to have to trade up for Harley Reid because this is a telltale sign source. If we're going to tank the rest of the season, when the team sheets come out, when are we playing this week? Of course, Sunday, no surprise. Against Melbourne in Tassie, all right? If you see Aaron Hall listed, if he's named for the side source, we want Melbourne to win by about 150. Simple as that. Simple as that. As simple as that. If he's not named, then we're going to try. And we might lose by 120. I hope Petrarca kicks 8. I hope he kicks 8 in this game. Just 3 Brownlow votes. Oh, just destroys us. Anyway, the season's done. And honestly, that's the worst I felt ever after watching a North game. Losing to West Coast. To West Coast. This is a team that lost by bloody freaking... Who kicked 200 points against them? Fremantle? Sydney? This team beat us. That piece of shit beat us.
Yeah, that doesn't say much about North, mate.
That's exactly right. Anyway, let's get to round 21 and get our tips. Dogs, Richmond, Friday night.
Oh, this is a tough one. I am going to go the Dogs just because Richmond don't like Marvel.
I'm going to go Richmond. I'll back them in. Essendon, West Coast.
Dons.
Oh, I'm going Dons also. Chris says Kanga Lemon. Magda's still optimistic. I'm optimistic that we're going to get the number 1 pick. Adelaide versus Gold Coast.
Only 17%.
17%, baby.
Adelaide.
I'm going Adelaide. Also, Hawthorn, Collingwood.
Pies.
Yep, I'm going Pies. Geelong, Port Adelaide, GMHBA.
Geelong will bounce back. Port Adelaide 3 on the trot, lost.
I'm going Geelong. Also, Giants versus Sydney.
I'm going to go the Giants.
I'm going Giants as well. North versus Melbourne in Tassie. Oh, fuck, this is a hard one.
Melbourne.
I'm going Melbourne. Also, D's. Blues versus Saints at Marvel.
I'm gonna go the Blues. I've got to go with the Blues.
I'm going Blues also. And the last game is Fremantle versus Brisbane at Optus. Surely Brisbane bounce back.
Yeah, you'd think Brisbane bounce back. Fremantle, big win down in Geelong. I'm going to...
Surely they bounce back.
Oh, man. I don't know.
It's a pretty tough one.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I'll go Brisbane.
I'm going Brisbane as well. Here's a quick look at the ladder. Got the Pies on top. Port Adelaide have lost 3 in a row. They're second. Brisbane third. D's fourth. St Kilda had a handy win in fifth. GWS into sixth. The Blues in seventh. Dogs holding on. Cats are knocking on the door. So Sydney and Richmond. So are the Crows. Dons will get a win this week. Got West Coast. And then there it is, Source. Right here. 17%. We're going to be covering that every week now till we get to the end of the season. 17%.
17 exactly.
17 exactly.
Ooh.
All right, Sauce. Let's move on because we had a race in Belgium. It was at Spa, the Belgian Grand Prix. And Saucy said, by lap 6, ladies and gents, Max Verstappen will be leading this race. It only took him 3 laps. And he was in front.
Lap 6. That was conservative.
That was conservative. Yeah. And he said probably 15 plus. He won by 22, Sauce.
If you joined in on the stream, we were just talking it was a procession after lap literally lap 15, you knew he was winning the race.
Yeah. So it was Verstappen followed by Perez and Leclerc, the top three. Hamilton in fourth, Alonso in fifth, Russell and Norris sixth and seventh, Ocon in eighth, Stroll in ninth, and Yuki Tsunoda rounds out the top 10. Great drive by him. Honorable mentions, obviously, the Aussies. Danny Rick in 16th. Didn't have a great race. Piastri, DNF, because Carlos Sainz was a DNF.
Dropping some absolute flack on
And I'm here to call it out. I'm actually here to call it out.
What's going on there? I've seen that.
Carlos Sainz, you can give him a Le Mans if you want. He's an absolute peanut.
Was he
he's blaming Piastri
when he locked up? He tried to take the gap and then realised there was no gap there and then locked up his tyres. He should have never tried to push for that gap, mate. There was no gap.
It's easy to blame the rookie when you're the experienced guy that makes the mistake and the rookie's driving better than you.
Yeah, he was in front of him going into the turn. He was about to take that turn nice and tight.
He's following the racing line. He's on the curb.
Mate, peanut.
He's an idiot. Carlos Sainz, it was your fault. You're a peanut. Piastri, unfortunate. What a waste. It was good, though, to see Ferrari left Sainz out there with a massive hole in the hull of his car for about 30 laps, and he was sitting last. And then they decided...
Ferrari decision.
They're like...
We're just come accustomed to. We're just come accustomed to.
What do you reckon they said, Sauce? They finished their cafe and their cigaretta, and they turned around and went, maybe we can't finish in the top 10 tonight. Let's just bring him in. Yeah, well, you should have done that freaking 25 laps ago, you idiots.
Hey, mate, we seen how shit they were to get when they had the Grand Prix there in Rome or whatever it was to get the debris off.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. That was so bad. It's like, get the fire hydrant, mate. Like the fire extinguisher. The car's on fire, you peanut. Like, what are you doing?
So slow. He was just walking.
Yeah. Un momento, per favore. Un momento.
I'm not surprised, man. The Italians.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Done and dusted. Verstappen's going to win the title. It's pretty plain and simple. There is the mid-season break. The next race is on the 27th of August. So towards the end of this month. As we know, this is prime time for driver movement that happens in the next month or so. Rumors that we're hearing in circles that Lando Norris potentially could be moving to Red Bull next year. That is the big one. He is the big one. So keep all your attention there. I don't know if you saw this morning, Source, him and Max Verstappen at Martin Garrix at his concert. They do everything together. They're best friends. They're genuinely best mates. They do absolutely everything together. So wouldn't surprise me if Lando's there next year.
Tampering.
So, yeah, I know. Yeah. Bit of tampering. Fine them. So 27th of August is the next one. All right, so let's move on. Before UFC, we got a Women's World Cup update. Now, of course, the Aussies got the win last night, 4-0. Fantastic. They are on top of the table of our group, followed by Nigeria in second. They booted out Canada and Ireland. Okay, yes. Here it is. I'll zoom in. This is Group A with New Zealand, the other hosts. They're out, unfortunately. Switzerland, Norway through there. Australia and Nigeria through in this group. Good signs. Winning 4-0, no Sam Kerr.
Yeah, better signs. Much better. Defensively, a lot better too.
Japan and Spain through in Group C.
Goals for 11-0 against Japan.
We like the Japanese, mate. We like the Japanese. But, of course, we want Australia to win. England and Denmark. These games are tomorrow. I think if England win, Australia avoids playing them. Well, they avoid playing them regardless, unless Denmark beats them by a few goals. So I think we play either Denmark or China. It's going to be, which is going to be interesting. Group E, Netherlands through, United States through. Win and 2 draws for the United States. Wow.
Yeah, they must have drew with Portugal.
They draw with Portugal today, yeah. France and Jamaica equal there. Brazil still a fighting chance to get through in that group. The Italians need to get a win. The Italiani, mate, they're playing at 5 p.m. tomorrow.
The Swedish look good.
We're playing at 5 p.m. Tune in. All right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Domani.
tomorrow. We play Domani. I'm pretty sure we play Argentina or South Africa. One of them two. We're not playing Sweden. So come on, Azuri. You got to get well. They've already got further than the men's. They're actually playing in the World Cup, so we'll give them that. Fuck. You know why? Because they haven't got a Jorginho equivalent on their team called Jorginho that knows how to miss penalties in qualification. That's why they're there. Group H, Colombia, Pablo Escobar's.
The Colombians, they're tough defensively, man. I watched them, and I'll tell you what, they've got. What was their name? Sosado, or I believe in that.
Yeah,
I could get it wrong.
Casado. Yeah, Casado.
Sosado just signed for Real Madrid. She is
The goal she scored was
unbelievably good.
elite.
And the goal she scored was a cracker. Her got great quick feet, very, very skillful player to watch on that left wing. So, mate, I'm telling you, Colombia is smoky. I watched the way and they defend hard.
Smoky.
Those Colombians, mate, they just go in got that South American blood. They just go nuts. They go hard into the tackles, mate.
No, good on them. So that's the tail of the tape at the moment. Hopefully Australia can go pretty far. My dream
Yep.
is for Australia to make the final against the United States and beat them.
Oh,
that is my dream.
That would be elite.
I'd be so happy. So happy. Colombia underdog, says Magda. Source is giving a smoky. Razo plays for Real Madrid too, said James, and she played very well last night for Australia, so that showed. Best thing about the Women's World Cup, I'm not going in there. I'm not talking about. I'm not even going to give that person 4 seconds of my time. Yeah, something in the lines in Colombia, said Adam. Of course. Adam can't help himself. All right, let's move on to
7-1 to win the World Cup, the Colombians. All right. So there you go. That's a smoky for you. Anything could happen. Women's sport. All right.
All right, Sauce. Over to you, UFC.
UFC 291 over the weekend. But as we know, this segment is sponsored by Roll Clean Soap. Of course, I better get the little overlay up, Doma. Roll Clean is your number one in Australian martial arts, MMA, BJJ, martial arts. Again, hygiene. Best damn soap in the business. I've got the original soap with peppermint, tea tree, and dried rosemary in my hand. Smells absolutely beautiful. Can smell it straight through the packaging.
This is the one.
Make sure you use double coverage at the checkout for 20% off your first order.
It's all natural.
Tell me, what have you got in there? What, have you used the charcoal one? The charcoal one's elite.
Of these?
Yeah.
Of the hand soap?
The charcoal's very nice.
What have I got? I got the acai rosemary one. I've got the original, and I've got what's this one? Fruit punch soap, orange and turmeric. And then, of course, I've got the bath bomb here. Yet to use.
Inflammation. The bath bomb. Yeah, you got to give that a whirl.
I should be
Ladies
using
and gentlemen, if you haven't checked them out, check them out. Rollclean.com.au. I'm going to read it again because I've stuffed it up. www.rollclean.com.au or at Rollclean Soap on socials. 100% Australian made, Australian owned, out of South Australia, and use double coverage at the checkout for 20% off your first order.
I've got to load up on more because I've run out. This is my last one. I'm going to crack this one open tonight because I finished the last bar last night,
No, mate. Have you tried it on the shave? Doma?
I haven't yet. I'm due for one.
I'm telling you, give that a whirl. On the shave. All right. UFC 291 over the weekend. I'll run you through the main card. And the results. Obviously, preliminary card, we are going to give an honourable mention to the Aussie Jake Matthews, who got the second round finish over Darius Flowers in the welterweight division. It was a cracking card. I watched it live with, very thankful to me mate Mozza. Put on a spit, got us around.
Nice.
It was unbelievable. It was beautiful. And we tuned in, watched the fights. Kevin Holland gets the win over Michael Chiesa, first round submission. And then you had Bobby Green submitting Tony Ferguson with 6 seconds left in the fight. And then you had Derek Lewis defeating Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. Hot balls with the flying knee straight off the bat, a la Jorge Masvidal. Unfortunately, he didn't knock him straight out, but I'll tell you what, he dazed him. And, when you watch that live, Doma, when you watched it live, you thought, did he actually get him? And it wasn't until they showed the replay in the other angle that you see it went straight through his guard and bopped him straight on the chin. So imagine 260-pounder flying knee straight at you. No, thank you very much.
Sleep time.
Derek Hot Balls Lewis let him know about it, gave him the little jig at the end, gave him the DX, come suck it. And it just his interview after the fight was just hilarious as well. It just doesn't give a fuck that
he
man.
just said some of the most ridiculous shit
He did.
of all
He did.
time. That I'm not even going to repeat on this show, but fuck. If I said that publicly in an interview about my wife, Jesus.
Oh, he's crazy.
What, he actually does not care. He's nuts.
He doesn't. He's like,
insane.
she. It says something like someone asked him like, something about their relationship. He's like, man, she should have loved me before I lost all this weight for this fight. Even though I was bigger, it was about him being bigger. You only had to cut weight. And he's like, we've been married 14 years. She should love me.
He just doesn't care.
Man. So funny. All right, light heavyweight. We had Alex Pereira in his first light heavyweight fight against Jan Blachowicz, getting the W. And look, some people say controversially, I actually agree with the judges. I actually think he won the fight. Jan, even though when he took him down, he took him down. It's the old situation, like when like Islam took Volk down and he did no damage. Like he just held him there. He did that. There was no really ground and pound. There was no trying to get submissions and defending and going for actual proper submissions. It was nothing. So Pereira defended it well, and he hit double the amount of significant strikes. He also defended a couple of takedowns. So look, I think it was fair enough. He got the win. And then in the main event, Dustin Poirier got knocked the F out by Justin Gaethje. It was another head kick a la Leon Edwards on Kamaru Usman. Very similar. It was the bit of the rope-a-dope, throw the punch, throw the kick at the same time. It was a phenomenal finish. If you haven't seen it, it was just as phenomenal as his freaking backflip off the top of the cage. If you haven't seen that, that was pretty good too, mate. Lucky he didn't bust his leg or knee when he landed. But it was just a cracking card, and there was great knockouts. There was great action. There was good fights in between as well. The Bobby Green Tony Ferguson was a really, really good fight. Nearly went the distance and was submission right at the end. And then the amazing finish with Justin Gaethje. The Jan fight against Alex Pereira was really, really good. And obviously seeing my boy Hot Balls Lewis get the chocolates was really, really good as well. And the bookies gave him no respect in this, Dom. They put him at $2.75 odds against Marco Rorio de Lima, right? And, mate, come on, man. I understand Derek Lewis had a few losses in his last few, but at one point he was right there on the top of a title shot, and he's still got that power. He hasn't lost that power. So, and look, man, when you're being able to throw those flying knees and stuff like that at that size, you're always a chance. So it was good to see him get the win. Doma, it was a big, big card, and I was happy to tune in. But if you missed out on those, don't worry, because this weekend there's more action. Coming this weekend, Sunday the 6th, Corey Sandhagen against Rob Font, UFC Fight Night. That's the main event. The co-main event is Jessica Andrade against Tatiana Suarez.
Nice.
Tatiana Suarez, 10-0 professional MMA. So that looks like an absolute beauty. I'll look down the card to see if there's any other notable mentions. Ignacio Bermudez, may have mentioned him before. He's an up-and-comer in the lightweight division. Chilean. He's only 25 years old, which is pretty young in terms of fighters and things. So look out for him, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if he's got any rookie cards or not out there, but he's young. He's up and coming. He's 14-4 professional MMA, which is a pretty good record. And yeah, look, One to watch. I've been warned by someone of him who's watched, he's been following the UFC for over 10 years. He said, "Oh, he's an up and comer." So put the word out. Other than that, there is some also good fights on the prelims, so make sure you check them out. The prelims kick off from 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and the main card kicks off from 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Check your local guides for any time differences that may arise. All right, Tomo, that's UFC for another week, and brought to you by Roll Clean Soap.
Very nice. Magda was just asking in the comments. He wants to know, is a saucy rant coming? I don't know. He said he's got something on the agenda he wants to talk about. I got no idea what it is. He likes keeping surprises from me now, which I actually like because they come out of nowhere, these rants. But let's get to hobby talk because it's up and it's brought to you by Platinum Standard Grading. Standard grading source. He's got a pack to rip. That is great to see.
Which we'll do it. Let me know.
First
off
the line, Ziggy, no Raw. He's going to be on sports car radio. That's unreal for him. It's going to be an ultimate rant sesh. I'm not sure when this episode's going to.
I don't know if that's confirmed. Doma.
Well, he pulled the redemption, so.
Oh, he pulled the redemption from the National, so they reckon he's gonna be on there. Okay, I think it was a bit of tongue in cheek by Ziggy, and I like the play. It's funny.
I reckon he should be on there.
He should be on there. It will be a great episode. I agree.
News, but there's bigger news at the moment.
The lads at Sports Card Radio, they need to put him on there. Get him on there. Ziggy, no, to Sports Card Radio.
Josh Giddey, Tyson Bet cards, bang, 90 seconds, gone.
Gone in 90 seconds. I didn't even get one, Dom. I completely forgot about the Collectors Club drop. Didn't get one.
But.
And then the public drop, I didn't have it. I lost.
Ladies and gents, he announced his new athlete this morning. For those that have missed it, load up your wallets like you're loading up a 64 Glock. Because here he is. Ja Morant, another great signing by Tyson. Unreal.
Glock Morant. Let's go.
He's glocked that up.
It'll be good. There's plenty of people in the Collectors Club that are hyped about it. I'm hyped about it. It'll be good. I might be able to get my first Ja Morant auto. And definitely excited. He's got big things to come. Big and even bigger things to come that are for me personally. I've got murmurings on the street of some great athletes he's got coming up, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled and know if you ask me, I will not tell you.
We don't tell anything. So, we can't afford to lose that trust, mate, and that friendship. So we get to know, and you just have to wait and find out.
Yep.
So
too bad.
Yeah. Next one, Source. We had a question from Cardboard. Was it Cardboard Magic last week? Asked us about there should be more card shows in Melbourne. And what do we do about it? I'll tell you what, in all honesty, Shane, shout out to Shane Penrose.
Yep.
Shout out to Shane Penrose. All right.
Yep.
He runs the Melbourne Card Fair. All right. Big props to him. Because when the Hobby Hangout's not running and the card shop show, what's the other one? The card show Melbourne, Card Fair Melbourne. What's the other one called?
I'm not really regarding that as a show just yet. I mean, he ran 2 shows. The second show was a lot worse than the first show.
It's something
something there, and it is something a different side of town. But in terms of consistency and adhering and listening to people and suggestions that people have had on board for to improve things. I mean, Shane's doing a phenomenal job. So you got to give him a shout out. He's definitely doing great things. And this weekend,
here's the next one. Here it is.
this Sunday in
There it is.
North Melbourne. 109 Munster
$6
Terrace,
tickets
North
online.
Melbourne.
There it is. Big plans. It says 109 Munster Terrace, the source just said, at the back in North Melbourne. There's sports card, TCG, memorabilia, collectibles, and supplies. I need to get some top loaders, man. It is Sunday, August 6th, this Sunday. Be there or be square, as they say.
www.trybooking.com/CJUYU. Type that in, and that will get you straight to the page where you buy tickets. If you do forget to buy a ticket, it's just costs $4 extra at the door, so you can always just pay $10 cash when you rock up. It is cheaper to pre-buy your ticket online. There you go. Make sure you get there.
Matt's card shop is going to have his first card shop pop-up. He's going to have a table first time, so good on him. Gimco there, Shiny Card Traders, Card Fever Collectibles, Midnight Traders, Big Bear, Ado, E-Collectible. There you go. There's a few there. It's going to be pretty big. The last one was a big turnout. And Source, funnily enough, it hasn't been put on here. I don't know if we can announce it, but I'm going to freaking announce it anyway. We got an email on the 17th of August. Shane has partnered with a TCG show, and it's going to be the same. He's going to have a few people that come down that are getting tables that can sell some basketball there, but there's going to be a TCG card fair. 2 weeks.
I think it's only TCG. I think it's TCG exclusive.
People have been said that they're allowed to sell sports cards there.
Okay.
They can have a table, but it's predominantly TCG.
Okay. So yeah, look, he's heard the want from collectors down here in Melbourne in terms of getting up more card shows and opportunities for people to set up at shows. And he's going into the TCG space, which will be great, Doma, because I'm building a TCG collection slowly, a little bit. So maybe at some point I might be set up.
Oh, sorry, that's not 2 weeks late. Sorry, that's September 17 is that one.
September 17.
Yeah, September 17. Apologies. But 2 weeks after, fact check. 2 weeks after Sunday, 2 weeks from Sunday, after this show, we've got Tricon Source. So we'll cover that too.
Yeah, and what date's that? The 20th of August?
19th and 20th of August.
And for the record, ladies and gentlemen, Doma and I will be there on the 20th of August, which is the Sunday. So if you guys can't make both days and maybe can only make the Sunday, make sure you head down and come up to us.
Support the show, and you can come see our ugly mugs. Say hello.
Come jump on the mic. Maybe we'll have the mic out and about.
Yep. There'll be cosplay there, Source. You'll be interviewing all types of people.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. You might even be dressing up, I heard.
Jonathan Magna says roaming Source could be back.
Might have to dress you up in a Mario costume.
Super Mario, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
That'd be so funny.
I do go as a good Mario.
We might actually have to think of something and dress you up.
Suggestions, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck the suggestions in the chat.
We might have to do that.
It's got to be within reason. I'm not going as Captain Underpants. Imagine I go as Captain Underpants.
I would love that. I don't want you to be thrown in jail. Like, that's not my intention.
I was about to say something, but I better not.
No.
That's
you can go. You can go as You can go as one of your centerfold Playboy card models if you want.
Yeah. I got the Pamela body.
Jonathan Magda says go as Vince McMahon. He's gonna walk up to. Oh, go as Trump. But put sports card investor shirt on him.
Make sports cards great again.
You're going to walk up to everyone and be like, you're fired. If he goes Vince McMahon. You can have the Vince McMahon kiss my ass club. Oh, that'd be funny. But there you go. There's some ideas as well for that show. But to answer Cardboard Magic's question, there is more shows popping up now. It is fantastic to see. There's a few hidden gems in terms of shows. Like, I know it's a toy fair, but sometimes at the toy fair, there's card stalls that are popping up now, and Pipeworks has just opened up again in the northern suburbs, and there's a card store in there. That was actually one of the most popular places back in the day where people were selling cards. So there's all types of shows and places and avenues you can go, but the Melbourne Car Fair is doing a fantastic job. It's consistent. All you need is probably one a month. That's all you need. You don't need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a month. Personally, Sauce and I would love to have a card show a month and then card shops put on trade days.
Yeah, well, look,
That'd be
as we know,
perfect.
Tri Collective, I believe, do a monthly trade
They do
day.
a
So
monthly. They
if
do.
you are following them on Instagram, they're down in Bentley, I believe it is, eastern suburbs of Melbourne, out that way. So they do a monthly trade day. I do know EJ Cards usually do trade days here and now. I don't know if it's monthly, but
They
did
did
see
one
they
on the
just had
weekend. They
one
did,
on the
yeah.
weekend. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Unfortunately, couldn't make it, but hopefully be able to get to some of those in the future. So yeah, there is some opportunity here down in Melbourne. And it is growing. It is growing. I can't really speak to too much on other areas, but in terms of Melbourne, and this is why when we had the discussion about if there was to ever be an Australian national, why Melbourne would be the place to hold the Australian national, because even though we don't have the same scene what we have as there is ever in the States, Melbourne is that place where it's just consistent movement, and there is card shows, and there is that bit of movement within shops, and there are quite a variety of different card shops out there as well. So I feel like there's other states probably aren't having as many things on, but nonetheless, it's improving, and I'm sure there's going to be opportunity for things to improve in the future, and it'll be interesting to see you know if Fanatics does see to do something like throw an event here in Australia. Is that on the cards for them? Do they want to be able to do things for other areas? Focus and maybe throw in an event in the UK for people that are the big UK community that collects cards, and people from Germany can go there and whatever. All the collectors in Europe. Do they look to expand on that event space? Who knows what happens? It'd be great for international collectors. I feel like we do get a little bit left out, but I guess that's just because it's solely very American focused, and the whole market is American, so you got to accept that.
A good test as well, Source, is with Tricon in terms of the popularity, the rising popularity. Well, it's not even rising; it's already been there. But the TCG community, that's being held at Jeff Shed, Melbourne Exhibition Centre, and it's not just TCG. Gabe did say that he's going to be sports cards. There's going to be all type of
Yeah,
things.
you can check out the vendors if you go check out Tri
Yeah,
Collective Instagram. He's
but
dropped a list, I think, of some vendors, so you'll be
but the
able to get an
reason,
idea.
like Source and I, there's never been a card show that we've attended that's been at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, ever.
Only
So
thing, I think, Comic Con, I've been there.
Comic Con, but that's not a card show. But like in terms of
Yeah,
proper card show first, everything else comes with it later. This is the first time it's been held at a venue like this. And that's one thing we're going to look at, because we're going to walk in there and we know it's going to be packed. But if it's packed to the point where you can turn around and go, just imagine you had a Tricon mixed with the Hobby Hangout, you had all those vendors, you're pretty much creating a mini national just in Victoria.
yeah,
Like,
true.
type scenario. And then you start inviting people from interstate to come in and do their stuff. And I know some people do fly down anyway from interstate for the Hobby Hangout, but it could. I think this is just the beginning. Just start putting that mark on the map for Australia, that we've got big shows, we can host big shows here, and then get the national hopefully to come down here. So that'd be awesome.
I don't think it'll be the national. I think it'll be, it'll be. I think potentially there's either going to be someone here who does something and is able to draw, because what makes your event is being able to draw the likes of getting Panini out to come out here and set up a booth, getting Tops to come
Yeah.
out here and set up a booth, getting like eBay to set up a booth.
We've got
getting PSA to come do on-site grading and potentially do that. Like
the crazy thing is, man, like we've got the people that know the people to make that happen in the hobby space here in Australia, not us. We can probably try and help get some of the like content creators down and try and twist their arm and beg them to come down because we know a fair few of them. But in terms of like those vendors, like Source is mentioning, PSA, Beckett, Fanatics, Panini, Tops, you name it. Who else? The CGC, SGC, all those types of like grading companies, and then like we know the people. Like those people know the right avenues to make that happen. So hopefully it does. That'd be nice. Global says just clicked over 6K members in his group. Well done, fantastic. Matt Tape says would be nice same day grade and redemption service. Yeah, who knows? All right, Source, but we did have the national.
Go to an event.
They're not coming,
and it not cost you fucking $5,000 before you've even walked into the event, and these
guys are not coming.
BBC,
and if they do,
mate, they can't come on our territory. We've got the double coverage authenticating service, mate. So you use us. We're more reputable here in Australia.
Our plastic doesn't break. Sports easy. Card World, Rob Scholes,
no pregnancies,
VIP parties. Yeah, we knew some people that got to some VIP parties, got in over there in the national, and that's where we're going. So we're going to just show some national content. Obviously, we're blocked by card porn, so I can't show all the big stuff. But what do we got here?
Juanito.
Yeah, that's okay. This is Gary V. He reckons it's in a good spot, and I think it is. I do think it's in a good spot at the moment.
Good to see Gary have a booth there with V.
Yeah.
He's there fantastic. The whole 5 days.
Good to see Derek Jeter there for Arena Club. Oh, Aaron, get out of here.
Look, what Arena Club's doing is interesting, and we had a look at them when they first came onto the market. I think they're you send in your cards there, you get it graded, you put it into their vault, and you can request a trade with people straight away, or you can buy and transact directly on their platform, and it stays in their vault. I think they do accept other grading companies within their vault as well. So yeah, interesting. And they give you a bit of a report on the grade. So check out Arena Club. They're interesting what they're doing.
Junior. This is the kid, obviously. There's no audio for those that are watching. This is the kid that obviously he hit some big cards, like his dad's cards, but he opened some packs and hit the big MJ patch order out of Exquisite, but here he is again. What's that? Flea Metal.
Nice cards. Skybox made. You can't go wrong.
Skybox metal. Here he is. And he's going to hit the Jordan right here. Here it comes. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Bang. So he dominated. That is the same kid that
I see that.
Hit this card right here. Watch him open the pack. So it was good. It's good to see
videos too.
Carvin. If you do go back and watch this video, it's actually awesome. Like they had guys like Lefko was there, but Carvin, who created this product, actually gives a history behind why he packed the boxes the way he did, the way he designed the case, the way it was designed before like they started opening the cards, which was awesome. Chase is in there, little pool man. He's recording, doing his thing. There's a redemption there. Come on, Junior. I can't even skip forward. But yeah, he pulls the Jordan Exquisite. There it is. Bang. They all go crazy. So you should. The card is worth an absolute mint. And they got it graded.
I will say this. They're absolute. Yeah, it came back at 9 because they're absolute clans because it got passed around before 5, 6 pairs of hands before they even sleeved it up.
What else we got here? Pulled a Jordan signed ball. This guy at the National.
There was a look. It would just
A
be
lot of
great to
stuff,
go there
man.
and,
Just
and see some people just rip some obnoxious price
a
product.
boy, there he is.
There
Let's
he
go
is,
to
Big
him.
Matty.
Matty.
Big Matty, how's it going, mates?
He hasn't got, I don't know why. He hasn't got the videos there.
That's
But
not his right account, mate. Shoe Shine is.
I'm not going on there. Anyway, he hit a couple curries, which is awesome. Back-to-back curries. Fantastic stuff there. Of course, the great man was also there. We don't need cardboard connection. That is Jay, the Messiah. You got a video here with Raul from AIH and, of course, Cage. And he, as he wrote in here, he spilt a full beer on Shyway Vlogs' showcase. So all over his cards. So good work, Jay. Fantastic stuff. That is awesome. Bloody Jay. What an absolute mess. Adam says BBC couldn't even grade a pregnancy test as positive. Adam says Shoeshine Bob strikes the National like an STD. Matt Taylor says the money in that place. Wonder how much money got spent there. Global says all I've been hearing is this got pulled and that got pulled. I want to show that. Oh no, I'm not going there. Where is sports card investor the Lamont? I don't know where he was. Old Jeff Wilson. He was doing his thing, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, Saucy, that's it for me until I show you the greatest moment of the National. But you said you had something that you wanted to talk about. There was rumblings of the National at the top of the show, you said, but you said there was a surprise, I don't know, segment. Something you wanted to talk about in Hobby Club. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I'll speak to, first of all, there was people out there that said, they weren't happy with certain things, such as, like obviously there's the National's a bit of like from what I can understand, there's a bit of an old boys club about the National. You've got like there would be, it's been run for so long by the same people. And you've got people that have been attending there being to all the Nationals, and it's like that's like booked in on their calendar every year, and it's like a bit of a vacation for these people. They go out there to the National, they go on a vacation, and like they're not really, they may not update the inventory much, or they just sort of go there as a bit of a social event, not really thing. So, and they're taking up room of potential people that would want to set up. As the hobby's grown massively, and I'm sure they wouldn't have an issue finding other vendors. The second thing was, it seems like there was like a nicely air conditioned area, and that got all nicely reserved for all the corporates and the big conglomerates that obviously paid big money to be there, and then the other people got pushed around to the other not so air free flowing air areas of the venue. So there was that as a bit of a complaint, but look, there is always going to be some issues. Nonetheless, I'm sure it was a great event. I can't really speak to it because I wasn't there. We're hoping to get some people on who were there. I'm sure we will have some people on in the coming weeks and that were at the National that can maybe just give us a bit of a rundown on how their show went and how things went for them.
One report definitely that we got was genuinely it's 99 to 1 in terms of good people to bad people in this hobby. There's a lot of great people there. A lot of people that
one Lemon trying to sell, fake Jordan rookies in a PSA slab. So you're going to get this shit.
A lot of great people there, and that's what we miss. To be honest, we just want to meet the people that we've built relationships with over the last 3 years, and we haven't actually.
Beers, man.
Yeah, have a few beers. Exactly right. See if they can keep up with us.
For me, I'll say beers, but I don't really. I prefer
I'm
Scotch,
the same.
mate.
Scotch. But yeah, so is that what you wanted to touch on? Is there something else?
No, there is something else. There was that. All right, and then there was. I'm just going to bring him up. We'll give him a shout out. We'll give him a shout out.
Okay.
Here he is. Big Stack and Sports on Instagram. Give him a follow. Nick Sostak. is his name. And he does card content. He obviously buys and sells cards. If you scroll down to his page, there's a part in here in his page. He does a lot of content where he actually bought 1 million cards off this guy, bought his whole collection, and he divided it all, sold it, graded stuff, and got rid of the whole 1 million cards, sold it every piece of it, and made money off it. It was really, really cool. He's been doing content for a while. He's an interesting follow. He was at the National doing a bit of content.
I know where you're going here.
There's one here where he did a few review. There's one here where he interviewed this guy here who's got 4.2 million followers on TikTok, he asked him a question like, how would you go about, being consistent on TikTok? It was a really good question. The guy gave good answers, for someone who's grown massively on social media. Great things, right? He's obviously giving away free gum at the hobby hangout. There's a video of him giving away free gum because obviously people got, a bit stinky breath or whatever.
You need deodorant to be given out, I heard.
Yeah, I think there's people giving out that too. But then he gets on our guy here, Mr.
I knew you
Jeffrey
were going
Wilson.
here.
Jeffrey Wilson, right? Mr. Jeff Wilson, sports card investor, a.k.a. sports card lemon, right? Because he's been given a lemon on this show a number of times. Let's just listen to what he's got to say here.
Is the audio going to play?
You started content. What's one thing that you would change?
Oh, I'd probably buy a lot more vintage and probably tell people to buy a lot more vintage, right? But back then, what was hot was all the ultra modern stuff, and people were flipping it. I was flipping it. That's what people are doing. But the long-term play, it's definitely more the GOATs and the vintage.
If you can go back to right when you started content, what's one thing that you would change?
Oh, I'd probably buy a lot more vintage and probably tell people to buy a lot more vintage, right? But back then, what was hot was all the ultra modern stuff, and people were flipping it. I was flipping it. That's what people are doing. But the long-term play, it's definitely more the GOATs and the vintage.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Now, ladies and gentlemen.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Ladies and gentlemen. Remember way back, we may have told you, and I may have said, I was very much a fan of Mr. Jeffrey Wilson. I used to watch his content. I used to love when his videos came out, right? And I was, that was sort of newish to the hobby. Not too new. I knew a little bit about cards, but I was learning, right? The day he said Lonzo Ball is a great investment, buy Lonzo Ball cards, you can't go wrong with Lonzo Ball, was the day that I realized this guy actually doesn't know anything about players and actual the sport. He actually doesn't know anything. He's just a literal marketing genius. He's marketing the way he's presenting what he's saying really well to deceive people on the other end. And, he goes on to say there that that's what everyone was doing. Well, everyone was flipping and selling those base cards because you were telling them, because when they went and looked for hobby content, they found this guy called Sports Card Investor, right? Sports Card Investor. Investments, pieces of cardboard, ladies and gentlemen. They're not investments until you can take your cardboard collection and get money for a bank loan for a house. They're not
or a PPP
right?
loan.
Oh, he can get them, and he bought all sports cards with it. Right? This absolute peanut, right, was telling people when people would come look for card content, he was one of the first you'd see. When I first started looking for card content, there was him, there was Cardboard Chronicles, Josh, who had his podcast, Wax Museum podcast. I found the Dr. Beckett podcast as well. But Sports Card Investor, the way he presented and did his content was really savvy, right? And I could see how he hooked people in. And that was how, I'll be honest with you, he himself, in my opinion, generated the whole base card flipping market. I'm telling you, he himself generated that shambles. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't take advantage of it. I fucking flipped a Damian Lillard rookie card I bought it for $200 and sold it for $1,300. That was amazing, right? I did take some lemons for a ride, and I got taken for a ride. I bought a fucking Zion rookie base prism for $220. I think they're worth $50 now, right? They're worth peanuts. But, right, you created this. And now all of a sudden you want to be here on the National after you've created this whole, situation where all these base cards died. Base cards are not really collectible. They're just there to chuck in a plastic pocket if you want to keep a couple. Other than that, they shouldn't really be worth much, right? Because there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of those base cards out there. Maybe hundreds of thousands. The way Panini's got the printers on at the moment. Now you want to tell people, you absolute peanut, to buy vintage and buy other cards. And look, this is saying buy vintage, right? And older cards in this clip. But in other recent clips that he's been saying now is buy what you love, buy what you like to collect, right? Sorry, but Jeff Wilson, you are a lemon! All right, I'm not even giving it the Pavarotti. He doesn't deserve it. You're just a straight out lemon, mate. You created the whole base card flipping bullshit. You yourself, right? And then you're going on and saying this on this clip. Or maybe I should have bought more vintage, or maybe actually told people buy cards with autographs on it. That's a good start. Buy cards with autographs on it, because there's the players actually touch the card.
What's
it's
funny?
actually got a meaning. Right?
The funniest part, Source, about all of this? He had what at that stage? 20,000 people following him, 10,000 people. You could have just come over to a little podcast at the time called Double Coverage, had probably about 50 people following, maybe 100 people on Instagram. And for the first, I reckon, 40 weeks that we did the podcast, Saucy gave a Smokey every week, and it was a vintage card. For 40 weeks straight, he was giving vintage cards. The advice that the guy just said he should have been giving to people.
Shaquille O'Neal rookie.
It just shows, honestly, Sauce, it just shows like...
How many did I give from the era?
Yeah, it just shows like with a bigger following, the amount of impact you can have. But whether the impact is positive is a different story. So, card experience, poor Jeff finally turning to the good side and copping it. He'll never be on the good side, all right? You take a PPP loan when your employees need to be paid and you spend it on sports cards. Doesn't matter what the fuck you do, you'll never be on the good side. Never. Never. Sports card investor people wanted me to send through my sports card broker business plan so they could make money. The clowns that follow Sports Card Investor, the real G's follow Double Coverage. Yeah, you know it. And now, the top G of the Double Coverage fam, the top G, right, created the greatest single piece of content, and I am not shitting you, ladies and gentlemen, in the history of the National. All right? And this guy, like fine art that he loves so much, this piece of content should be hung in cardboard history forever.
$1:00 in the morning at the Hive Hotel. Look at all these fucking lunatics with their fucking cards. Brad, Casper Collectibles. Look at these lunatics going still. Dude, it just doesn't stop. It doesn't end. Look at these nutcases, man. God, blimey, look at all these motherfuckers down here. These animals just don't stop. Look at them. Look at them all over there. Look at this fucker with the case, man. The animal. How are you, brother? What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I'm alright, dude. What's going on? Tell the world what's going on. Tell me some good shit.
Fuck.
You look like Jason Tatum.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's fucking 1 a.m.
Oh, that is the greatest.
That was the best thing
1
ever.
a.m. in the morning, they're still going nutcases over there. Have a look at this fucker with his briefcase.
Hey, how you going? That was the best. Have a look at this fucker with a briefcase. This animal. Oh, hey, how you going?
Oh, the Messiah was.
That's why he's the Messiah. And I shit you not. You think I'm joking with that? That is actually the greatest piece of content ever. Like, just, and he's not bagging the people because he loves cards. He's just like, he can't. This is a guy that is in sheer disbelief in what the hell is happening. Like, it's 4 a.m. There's kids there. Put your kids to bed. You're a grown man. Go to sleep. They're just still wheeling and dealing. Just imagine the BO at 4 a.m. in the morning sports. Wow. Epic. The National was amazing. How many beers deep was the Messiah at that point? No idea. But I'll tell you what, Saucy and I, shit you not, we are trying so hard. So we want him on to give his experience. We want him on, even if it's for 10 minutes.
the Messiah and tell him to get on the Double Coverage podcast and let him know that you want to hear
Inundate him.
National story.
Inundate him and let him know that you all want him on. I think he thinks that it's take the piss. It's not. I genuinely want to hear his experience. And we all know he's hilarious. He's going to make us piss ourselves laughing. He's going to say something. And I'll tell you what, I don't care if we get cancelled for it either, to be honest. It'll be worth it. Just move to Rumble, where we belong. And on that note, keep living, loving, and breathing sport. It's Double Coverage. I'm Dom with the Great Man Sauce. Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports. Double Curve.